Hello, and thanks for joining us for episode 13 of the Edinburgh Northern Cockerel cast. We've gone for a bit different for tonight's episode, having up to now invited not many youngsters on.
I'm not actually sure that our guests this evening actually know who you are, Jason, after your absence of 6 months of injury.
Yeah, well, no time like the present to find out.
Yeah. Obviously, we've been chatting about who we were going to bring on, and we both felt it was a good opportunity to maybe introduce some of the newer members of the club onto the podcast. One of the things our guests have obviously mentioned to us is that we don't have a feeder club, we don't have a school, and despite having 4 or 5 other clubs around us, we still manage to do really well in terms of recruitment year in, year out. So it'll be quite interesting to have these 2 chaps on to let us know what their initial thoughts have been.
Indeed, and with no further ado, we'd like to welcome firstly Benedict Emmerson, formerly of Merkston Castle School, and a newcomer this season. Ben's played most of his rugby for Northern in the second 15 engine room and back row. Hi Ben, how's it going?
Yeah, not too bad.
Excellent.
Fantastic. And our other guest this evening is also a newcomer this year, possibly Edinburgh Rugby's biggest fan. Our other guest tonight is Euan McFadzean, who's played most of his rugby in the wing for the second 15 since joining. Hi Euan, how's it going?
Hi, yeah, I'm all right. Sorry, I just missed that whole bit because my internet lagged out, but I'm sure it was really polite and welcoming.
It was, which is nice of me as a Glasgow fan. Chose not to have a pop in the opening segment.
Good stuff. So, firstly, what have we got to drink then?
Water.
Very good.
What about yourself, Euan?
I'm here with my water too. Got a big old pint of the council juice.
This is the future, Michael. I think I've got enough alcohol content for the 4 of us with an Aspel cider. Rich self.
I've gone for an Amstel. So, although it's quite a good thing, Jason. Obviously, if the youngsters of today are drinking water, we'll have a team of super hydrated athletes come the season restarting. Which would be nice. We thought we'd open with a nice wee icebreaker for the 2 of you. So could you possibly please go and grab an item in whatever room you are in, beginning with the letter E?
E.
E for Echo. And you've got 30 seconds to grab it.
E. Right. God.
So this is obviously going to be a bit of a trend for the programme to make these well-hydrated youths scamper around their rooms.
Could be interesting indeed. I think we've got our first item.
So we do.
Well, it's an elephant.
It's an elephant.
Excellent.
Yeah, made of redwood, I believe.
Fantastic.
I'm gonna say earphones, but they're headphones.
We'll give you earphones. I feel like you don't know what the rest of that challenge entails, but Ben's off to a good start with it. So,
God, right.
Oh, God.
So, into the body of the question then, boys. Firstly, your lockdown situations. Ben, first, how are you managing?
Yeah, not too bad. I mean, I'm at home with my parents, so, it's nice. It means I'm not alone. I've got someone to talk to. And I'm also working as well at the moment, so in at least 5 days a week at Wonderland, which I'm sure, like, if you lived at Edinburgh for any amount of time, on Lothian Road. So that's a lot of fun doing internet orders all day. But yeah.
Do you work in Wonderland Models?
Yeah.
That's really cool. I'm not going to, I have no real credit of any merit at Northern anyway, but I'm not going to admit to having frequented there a lot when I was a kid for all sorts of stuff. And my dad still goes quite a lot whenever he's through. So it's a great shop.
And Euan, what about yourself?
Yeah, I'm currently bunkered up in my flat in Marchmont. I started lockdown working, but quickly as we do a lot of IT for sort of retail and catering sort of companies, they obviously all kind of shut down. So the staff have basically 80% of the staff have been furloughed now. So basically have spent my time in my bed and watching stuff and playing games. That's about it.
Bliss. Sounds like bliss to a parent. So we'll head back then. Let's touch on your sort of respective backstories. Where are you from? You obviously kind of covered your work there. We'll go back to you in there.
Well, I was born in Edinburgh. I've basically lived in Edinburgh my whole life. I was actually born in the hospital, literally about 200 metres in that direction. Went to school at Firhill High School, down sort of Oxgangs, Collington way. Lived pretty close by to there as well. Went to Benally with Ben for primary school. And now I am at Edinburgh Napier studying cybersecurity and digital forensics. I'm on my placement year in third year now as a security analyst.
Very good.
Fantastic.
And Ben, yourself?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's pretty much the same because I was born in the Simpson Hospital as well. I went to, born in Edinburgh, raised here. Went to Benally Primary as well. Then went to Merchiston for sort of secondary school. Took a year out to work in Wonderland because I needed some money, and then started Edinburgh Uni. So I'm just finishing my second year there, studying geophysics and geology, though I'm planning to switch to just geology.
Okay.
Fantastic. And obviously, I know we talked about it a wee bit in the kind of the pre-chat and stuff. We'll go on to ask you about your rugby backgrounds. We'll go for you, Ben, first. Obviously, Merchiston's quite a prestigious name. So what was that like kind of coming through at school?
I mean, it was quite strange because I joined when I was like 11 or 12. Most people there had been playing since they're about 5 or 6. So it's probably a bit of a black spot in terms of on the sort of rugby prestige. I never played a huge amount there. Like, I was always second or third, so never played the first or anything like that. And so yeah, until I was about 15, then I mean, I had a couple of minor injuries, like I lost a tooth and things like that, but I dislocated my shoulder playing under 16s. So I stopped playing. I said I was out for a couple of months. Then I decided that I didn't want to get hurt again like that, so I stopped playing and switched sports for a while. But yeah.
What sport did you switch to?
Oh God, I played all sorts. So I did a bit of field athletics, a bit of squash. Squash was actually, I went on to play for the school in squash, which was an interesting one. And God, I did a bit of rowing as well. So I just didn't quite find what I wanted to do, but yeah, tried a lot.
Excellent.
Very good. So before my next question then, we'd like you to grab an item beginning with the letter N, please. N for November.
We also didn't ask you about his previous rugby experience, Jason.
Lacking.
That could have been my next question. It's hard bouncing back and forward, isn't it? But we'll get there.
We'll get
I
there.
don't have anything in my room.
It's not the easiest letter. Not the easiest letter. The next ones are easier.
I think if I had anything sitting here.
You've probably got nappies somewhere in the house, though.
Quite nice upstairs.
Yeah. We also have nappies, but that's another story.
I'm afraid to say I'm not sure if I'm finding anything with the letter N in here.
What could we suggest, Michael? Other than nappies.
Nightwear? Is that
Nightwear? What, like a pair of
Nintendo
boxes?
Switch.
Fantastic.
Okay.
Again,
Well
Ben
done.
off to a winner here. Ben's worked out there's a second element to this.
Oh God, I mean, it's literally the only thing I could find that vaguely had an N in it, as far as I could see.
Okay, I've got... Right, here we go. I'll do this. Name badge?
That's, yeah, name badge works, yeah.
Well done.
Right.
So yeah, sorry for passing you by there. You and your own rugby background, previous clubs and whatnot?
Yeah, so, well, as I went to Firhill's not really renowned for its physical education of any sort, but for a while, the Boroughmere guys came down and trained with us. So I played with them for very briefly in first and second year. And I kind of focused more on other sports. So at the time I was skiing up at Hill End. I did a little bit of archery. I also played a little bit of badminton. I was kind of a bit more of a twig back then. but I stopped playing sports and I kind of put on a few pounds, so it's good to slim back down again. But yeah.
It's really isn't it? You both said that you kind of played a bit of rugby and stuff, but now you're both playing for Northern. So we'll have to come on to that, I suppose, when we come on to the Northern questions as well. I know you're both quite big fans of the game. You both wear enough Edinburgh stash at training sessions to understand that. And albeit you said you didn't play very much as kids, or relative amounts. But who were your kind of, I suppose, to you first, Ben, have you got any particular rugby influences or people you've liked watching kind of growing up?
Well, the first one would, the strange one actually, is Jeff Cross, the big sort of front row forward for Scotland, because he was one of my friend's uncles, and he's the first professional rugby player I met, and he made quite the impression just because of how huge he was, and I was always then like every Scotland game after then, and yeah, I think he played a bit for Edinburgh and London Irish and things like that, like trying to find him, trying to spot him, which, to be fair, it was quite easy considering his size and his massive beard. So,
Yeah. He's also now a doctor, isn't he? I think.
Yes, absolutely terrifying to see him on your.
Can you imagine? I mean, I've had my stints in A&E for good and bad behaviour, and I wouldn't want to meet him telling me off for drunken behaviour. What about yourself, Euan? Have you got any particular influences you've had? I'm going to presume it's the Edinburgh player. That's just a guess.
Well, no, you might be surprised. When I was younger, it was kind of I wasn't, massively into rugby. To be honest, it was more I would come in and my dad would be watching sort of the Six Nations or something like that on the TV, and I'd sit down and watch that with him. And obviously, I'm always fully behind Scotland, and I hate England and all that nonsense. So I sat down and did that with my dad. But kind of towards the end of high school and stuff, I started liking Edinburgh rugby a bit more. Started looking into that, trying to go to a few more games because it was only a tenner, a ticket for students, so it was quite good for a day out with my friends. But some good players that I really like watching at the moment. Rory Hutchison. I know someone. Tom has definitely heard me go on about Rory Hutchison for quite a while. I like to throw jabs at him and his little Saracens fanboy sort of ordeal. Other than that, I really like. Obviously Greg Laidlaw was quite a big inspiration for me, a wee man in a big boys game. So I like watching him a lot. But in terms of Edinburgh players, I really like Pierre Schumann. He's always fun to watch, and I'm absolutely in love with Darcy Graham.
I can imagine. So it's actually you kind of both alluded to kind of Scotland and kind of the 2010s onwards when we've actually been quite good. I feel like it's my point is an old point just now to kind of, it's not always been this fun to watch. So it's kind of, it must be quite nice actually having that as an experience growing up watching the game and stuff.
My first ever game was against watching Australia, I think 2006, when I think it was about 60-0 or something like that by the end of the game. So
was that a Murrayfield?
Yeah, it was one of my. It was like I got it through with the Beavers, in fact, like so Beaver Scouts.
Yeah, I think I was there with you too, Ben.
We were like right on the sideline, like excited for a good rugby. Like never heard of rugby before, but heard it's like, this amazing game, and then watching the home nation get destroyed. It was an interesting experience to say the least.
I think I might have actually been at that game as a kind of 14, 15-year-old with my mother, of all people. But yeah, it's got better, which is nice. It's quite nice to be able to watch Scottish rugby now and actually have players who, when we talk about them, they're held in high regard. And hopefully Rory Hutchison makes the Lions squad, which would be nice. And maybe Darcy Graham.
And Jamie Ritchie.
And Jamie Ritchie, yeah. At the expense of Irish players, hopefully.
And Welsh players. Don't forget.
So enough about Scotland players before we lose the audience. You might have seen Tom's positional challenge during the week. So we've decided to make this a regular thing. You should have all the kit there, your toilet rolls and whatnot.
Yeah.
Fantastic. So I'll run through what we're going to ask you to do. You are going to be on the clock. So Tom did it in about 1 minute and 28 seconds and managed to miss only one shot. So that's kind of the bar you want to hit here. So just to outline, it's 10 press-ups and then 2 fingers of your water, which is actually an advantage, I think, in this. Then chuck the toilet roll into the bin or your goal. Then 10 sit-ups, again, 2 fingers. throw into the bin, and then 10 star jumps, 2 fingers, and throw into the bin.
Of course.
So,
right.
So have you got to throw it into the bin from like here, is it? Or
yeah, so basically do your press ups, then get up in the bin.
Alright, I'll try getting
right.
into frame, but can't
Yeah.
promise
Well,
anything.
you don't have to have yourselves in the frame.
Okay.
Well, I'll just presume that the noises of exertion are actual exertion and not my attempt to press ups that I published all over Facebook today.
Okay, right.
So
I'll get
You're
there.
on floor cam, right. Oh, I've not got socks on. Right. What was it? First 10 press ups?
yeah, so we'll count you in. So
Okay.
it's press ups, sit ups, and then star jumps. It's basically like one of
Right.
Chris's training sessions, but with a bit of actual ball work thrown in. Which, if he actually watches this, he's not going to be happy about me saying that. So, are you both ready to go?
Yeah, I don't know if I'm going to be able to hear what you're saying.
That's fine. Don't worry. It's all right. You won't hear the commentary. It's fine.
Okay. So it's 10 press-ups, water, sit-ups, water, and star jumps with throwing ball.
Yes, and throw in between. Yeah. Okay.
Right.
Come back to us after each exercise.
Okay.
Yeah. So, excellent. Well, I'm ready, Jason. Are you ready?
Yep.
Shall we count them in? Excellent. So 3, 2, 1, go. I reckon my form's better than Euan's. I don't know, but your thoughts, Jason?
I would need to see your side angle, Michael, but I've seen enough.
Yeah, I don't think anyone needs to say that. Excellent, good work.
And then just launch it into the bin.
Yeah, launch into the bin.
I missed. I actually missed.
Yeah, we saw you miss.
Oh my god, right.
1-0 to Ben.
To Ben.
Sit-ups then, Euan.
Oh, am I setting up now, right? Okay.
Yeah, so as we sit here sucking our beers.
I'm dragging out my birthday weekend here.
That's
Wish
quite
I
right.
cycled home from work today. Oh.
Oh. Excellent.
Did Ben miss?
They missed the second one. He keeps having goes at it though.
I hit
Maybe call that quit, Ben.
I hit one.
This is really not going well.
No,
I'm just going to throw
just
the
leave
other
it.
one.
Yeah, I was just say just leave it. That's fine. Don't worry.
Oh.
Excellent.
Star
Star
jumps,
jumps. Star jumps. Yeah,
Right.
star jumps.
It's just like a tour.
My flatmate won't be happy. Oh, water first. Just jumped on his roof.
Things happen at sea. Excellent. Ben, you win for the time, I think, so far.
Oh, shit.
Oh,
I hit.
unfortunate.
Okay, I hit that one.
Did you get it?
Keep going until I get it.
I did get it, yeah.
Oh, mate.
Yeah. So I feel like we should disqualify Ben for his multiple attempts. But
Was I only meant to have one attempt at
yeah,
this?
one attempt to go, but it's fine. Don't worry.
Oh.
You've come in at over Tom's time, but it's fine. You can go on the leaderboard. 1 out of 3 is not.
Oh,
that
there's a
bad.
leaderboard. I would have
There's a-
tried harder.
There's a leaderboard, and you both came in about the same time. But no, good effort. Very, very impressive. I feel like we're going to end up having to do this ourselves, and it won't be good because I'm not sure I can do star jumps at the moment. So, but fantastic. Thank you for that. So we'll call you joint second on the leaderboard as it stands.
Done
I'll
that.
take that.
So on to the next one then. How did you learn about the best club ever, and when was this?
I think it's probably better if Euan goes first for this one, because
Oh, yeah.
I've got less of
well-
a story.
I don't really have much of a story either, to be honest. But kind of, what was it? Sometime last year, I was kind of sitting in the flat with Lloyd, who's played wing for us a few times, and we were kind of just looking to kind of get into a sport again. And I kept suggesting we should go play rugby because I obviously a big fan, and I'd spent a lot of time watching it and going to the games. So we sat down and we were just scrolling through Facebook, like just looked up rugby Edinburgh, and obviously one of the first teams that came up is Edinburgh Northern, because you got Edinburgh in the name, and we were just like, we messaged the page. I think it was Dom got back to us, said just come down on Wednesday, headed down, and I was playing that weekend and drinking that weekend. It was good fun.
Excellent.
What about yourself, Ben?
I mean, well, I saw. I've been going back, watching rugby games. I played a bit for the Edinburgh's OTC, so like the Officer Training Corps. But that was only sevens, and like we played. It's meant to be a yearly competition, sort of March time, and we played then. I was like, oh, quite enjoyed playing rugby again, but I didn't have like any idea like where to get back into it. Then I saw Euan share one of Edinburgh Northern's like sort of little reports on Facebook, and so I texted him like asking him about it, and then just messaged the page, and I think it was Callum replied, and then came down on the Tuesday to start training.
Fantastic. And you've both been here ever since, really. You've certainly been the most two of the more committed trainers, putting some of our actual veterans to shame. Jason's excuse is that he has a 2.5-year-old son. So
that's a pretty good excuse, but
that depends on who you ask. The next question, well, again, could we ask you to grab an item beginning with the letter R, please?
Gosh, right.
Guys, I know this is going to be completely the wrong size, but it's the closest item. Got a rocket.
Fantastic.
That's hard to get difficult.
Yeah, it is going to come in. I think that's going to come in useful as well.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
is that one you built yourself, Ben?
It's the Lego Saturn V.
Ah.
There are various things that I've built myself around you, but none of which begin with the letter R.
That's all right.
I think Euan's going to have to name
it
Teddy Bear Roger.
Not to give you a helping hand, Euan, but you do own a lot of Edinburgh rugby shirts.
That's true.
Yeah.
Let's go with that then.
Oh wow! It's the 18-19 season, is it?
I was worried he was going to take his t-shirt off there. Right?
Well, that's what I was going to say. Was that if you can't find one, just go skin. It's like obviously both being new recruits and stuff. And you talked. I think you both came down. I want to say October because I remember it being dark. We're always quite interested to know how new recruits kind of why they stick around. And obviously it was a bit wet this autumn. The numbers hadn't been brilliant at training. What was it that maybe kind of motivated you to kind of stay around and to keep coming down? Euan first, perhaps.
Okay. I kind of have vivid memories of my first session, and I remember just coming in. Can be a little bit socially awkward at times, so I was kind of distancing myself from people, kind of just speaking to Lloyd when we were there. And I remember standing next to the posts and just like a group of people just coming and like chatting to me and like trying to get me involved and stuff like that. I just thought, it's like really welcoming, and even though it was miserable and cold, I kind of just wanted to get stuck in and get going and just put my all into it and try and get fit again. And it was just good that everyone was so welcoming about it and so friendly. So I just came down to the next training session after that and played on the Saturday. Got on for a whole 20 minutes or something in the Leaf game, which was good fun. Defending my swamp on the wing that day, but yeah, it was really good. Just how welcome it was, really.
Fantastic. I remember that swamp actually really vividly. It was a miserable game to play in. And yourself, Ben, what kind of encouraged you to stick around?
Yeah, I mean, well, the first Tuesday I came down, Euan wasn't even there, so I knew no one. It's the fact that people came and talked to me, were interested, talking, were actually friendly. The training session itself was actually I felt like it was worthwhile coming to, even though it's raining, pouring rain, it felt like it was useful. And then also just the fact that from even the first weekend it was getting game time. I think my first game was Corstorphine, I believe, because the first couple were cancelled. But getting to actually play games on a regular basis, well, as regular as the weather would allow, it was definitely nice as well.
Fair play. So if you were to give another newcomer some words of encouragement, what advice could you give them then, Euan?
Definitely you can kind of be in any condition of play. You know, if you've not played in a while, that's fine. The only thing that I'd fully recommend coming down with is a decent drinking stomach. I remember that boot; it was not good. I just remember staring down into the glass, watching Dan and Richie throw up into a bin, and going to the toilet afterwards with them. That was an interesting experience. But yeah, I think that's probably about it, to be honest.
And yourself, Ben?
Oh yeah, I'd definitely say like, you know, come down, get stuck in, and expect to get a bit muddy because, you know, like I think I'd forgotten just how muddy you could get playing just in the wet, and like just going home like back to the flat after the first session and just like not being able to see the colour of my clothes because, you know, it's just fully covered in mud.
You also came down in white, didn't you? So
yeah, I only had white rugby shorts at the time, which still are not clean. So, yeah.
I must admit, when I not related to Northern, but that used to be one of the things that really annoyed me about Murchison's like playing kit. It's all white, isn't it? It's the same as Dollar.
No, so our away
it.
kit, like the secondary kit, was white like when it was like the cotton tops, but it got changed midway through the school. Actually, something even worse. It became light blue, which was even worse to clean.
Yeah,
So we always played in dark blue, and essentially made the light blue kit pointless.
It was more being on the end of lots of 60-point thrashings by Murky when none of them were covered in dirt afterwards. Used to aggravate me.
That's the secret substitutions that you don't see.
So next on our item hunt list is something beginning with the letter F, if you please.
I'm really bad at this.
And my suggestion for this would be fragrance. We can have that if you want. And if you've got aftershave or deodorant.
I've got a feather.
Okay.
I really hope you've not pulled that out of your mattress and just kind of.
No. Like I've got a couple of them sitting on my desk. They're hackles, but they're feathers technically.
And
what was your
freshener from you?
Freshener.
Excellent.
Fair play. So, in your fairly limited experience so far, have you any favourite moments down at Northern? Ben first.
I mean, most recently, our last game of the season, it came down to the wire, defending for like the last couple of minutes of that game. I mean, yeah, getting knocked on the floor and getting back up, like continue playing, like them getting within the 5 metre, and then the ref blowing full time. I think, you know, that game was definitely memorable, as well as not scoring a try when literally being stopped on the line as well. So, you know, I think that's probably the most memorable for the moment. But yeah.
And Euan?
I think one of my most memorable moments is when we played. Who was it again? The like 4G pitch that we went to play.
That's
in
Stevens
South
away,
Queensbury.
technically.
Yeah, Stevens away.
Home even.
Yeah, home. But I remember watching Callum Miller run over the line 2 or 3 times and getting the tries discounted every single time. And the look on his face is probably one of the best things that I've ever seen. He was not happy with that ref, but it was a pretty funny thing to watch, to be honest. So did enjoy that.
That's excellent. I'm glad they're both matches actually. They're really good examples of, and also who doesn't like watching Callum Miller getting denied a try.
It happens all too often, isn't it?
Well, it's funny.
I'm not sure if it's all too often. You know, it happens more than you'd think.
Him and me, we share a similar knack for appearing when the white line appears, having done very little for most of the game. So except for my try scoring record is a lot higher and better. But it's quite because it's a good wee tangent there. I know you've only played a kind of a handful, I think maybe 10 games or so, maybe even that, I'm not sure, at the club. But do you have any kind of, I suppose, favourite Northerners so far, either playing alongside them or who you enjoy being part of a club? Don't feel the pressure to name us. Like, we're not that important. I suppose Ben first.
I mean, definitely, person who made the impressions first would be Richie and Bernsey. Like in my first match against Kistorfin, like just watching them like run into them, like seeing like starting on the sideline, seeing Richie sort of like run around like half their team with the ball like above his head before like lobbing it infield for the try. I think made quite an impression, and just like as well watching Bernsey just constantly like running it up the field, just like making big collisions, making ground. You know, definitely like made early impressions, and sort of like they're the sort of level I want to like be at playing. Just so. yeah,
Excellent.
kind of be like them.
Inspiring. I'll say other people. I think one of the first people to make an impression on me was actually Kit. I have yet another very vivid memory of me standing out on the wing. I'm like, this is clear space. I can easily get a try here. 3 defenders have just committed to Kit running straight up the line. And so I'm like, all he has to do is just throw the ball to the right. Going to get my try. It's going to be amazing. No, Kit runs the last 20 metres with 3 lads hanging off his back and just stumbles over the line and gets the try. And I just watching that was just amazing. So funny. And another, it's a duo that I like is Aiden, the 2 Aidens. I think it was the Thebans home game the first time we played them. They were just all over the place, like crossing everywhere, just absolutely tearing up the pitch, and it was just so much fun to watch them. I don't think I even got the ball with them too, just cutting in and out of people, but it was, you know, it's really good to watch that sort of stuff happen. It's quite skillful, it's quite fun.
Fantastic. You've just touched on something, Ben, which I'd quite like to follow up on. You'll probably be the same as well. You've talked about watching Burnsy and Richie do that kind of that stuff that they do. Burnsy's particularly famous for having very little respect for his own body and throwing himself into collisions, much to the chagrin of his wife. What do you, I suppose, you don't have to answer the question or give a proper answer if you don't want to both of you. What are you looking for from Northern kind of going forward, I suppose? You just talked about that's the standard you want to play at, Ben. I suppose, what would your answer be to that kind of question?
Well, for me personally, or like the whole club? Sorry.
No, for yourself personally. Like what I suppose, because obviously you've had your first season, you hopefully have a few more seasons. What are you looking to get out of it?
I mean, for a start, definitely improving my tackle quality. It's still questionable to say the least. Yeah, don't just like get to know. I feel like I still don't know a lot of the club. You know, like there's still faces that like I sort of recognise but can't put like a name to. So definitely getting to know more people at the club, and yeah, just like playing more games, because I mean, I've really fallen back in love with playing rugby again. You know, like just want to play as much as possible.
Fantastic. That's what we like to hear. And yourself, Euan?
Yeah, I'm kind of on the same lines there. I mean, obviously rugby is a bit more of a new thing to me than it is to Ben. So obviously learning a bit more about the game would be really fun. Really want to improve my handling the next season. I think that has been an absolute detriment to myself and my teammates. But, you know, I feel like I've got quite a bit of gas, so I'd quite like to get stuck in and maybe get a good few runs up the lines and see if I can maybe step a few people. I want to improve my step there, and yeah, that's probably about it, really.
No, good goals.
Yeah, I think we've got a handful of listener questions there then that we've got in today. Michael, if you want to lead us through.
I will do. So the first one is for yourself, Euan. It's from the @Northern Bar convener, who I think we've mentioned before this evening. How do you manage to keep up with the big boys drinking?
Well, I don't know. I feel like I've got a reasonably good stomach. I feel like after a few experiences at the Tech that I've managed to prove that I can get a drink down me quite quickly and I can handle it pretty well. You know, I am quite small. I've got a wee stomach, but I can hold it all in. I don't really know how to answer that question, to be honest, apart from let me prove myself, I guess.
I did think it was a wee bit of a cheeky question from someone who only actually comes out drinking once a year or so. So it's kind of, he won't like this either when I call it and that, so that's fine. The next one is for you, Ben. It's from ENRC team secretary. So former Merchiston alumni Fraser Brown brings a hard edge to Glasgow and Scotland's front row, and Zach Mercer demonstrates some quick feet off the base or Bath in England the odd time. Do you feel you can bring the same attributes to Northern?
I mean, I hope I can bring more of the Magnus Bradbury approach of just bowling over the opposition, you know, just straight down the middle, you know, score Fantastic. A couple of tries, you know, and up my game.
Excellent. The next one is for yourself again, Euan. It's from @Dr. Don. As one of Northern's newly trained first aiders, are there any particular Northerners you'd not like to administer first aid to? And feel free to the situations can be endless here, so feel free to pick one.
As a first aider, obviously, I'd like to say that I would happily give first aid to anyone. Mawdsley, it'd probably be quite difficult to give you first aid after a few drinks, but we'll go over that one. I don't think there is anyone really that I would think would be aggressive. I think I'd probably get a little bit of harassment from Holland if I tried to give them any sort of form of first aid. But other than that, I think it's kind of in the clear.
Excellent. He's into all sorts, though, so you never know. And the final question for you, Ben, is from Avid Modeler. What is your favourite model that you've ever made?
Oh, God, that's difficult. Lots of awful ones I built. I think it's probably, I don't even think it's here. Yeah, it'll be in the shop display cabinet at the moment. It'll be Israeli F16, which I built recently.
Oh, wow.
But yeah, once Wonderland's open, again, you might be able to pop in and see it. Top shelf, one of the display cabinets.
If I do, I'm coming. Yeah, if I do, don't tell him I've come in to start modelling again, because I'll never. It's not a jargon to, but I think I'll never hear the end of it from Jason or Burnsy or Paul if I start doing that. The final item question has come up now. Can you grab an item beginning with C, please?
All right.
Got cat badge. There we go.
Fantastic.
Exotic them. I think I've got. Yeah, that'll do. Right. I have a capo for a guitar.
Oh, fantastic.
Well done. So before we sort of put all these items together, I'd just like to ask what you're both most looking forward to when life returns to normal. Euan first.
Well, I've not been drinking for 3 months or whatever now. The only drink that I have had was during that 5 ingredients challenge, and the subsequent drink that I had to have after for not acknowledging the first one, which resulted in about 3/4 of a bottle of tequila. But other than that, I'd love to go back out again, get back out in the town, have a few drinks. I'd obviously love to get back to the gym and playing rugby, because I'm starting to feel a little bit podgy. I'm putting on the pounds with all the pizza and takeaways I've been ordering. So obviously I'd love to get back to that. To be honest, I thought I would not miss working, but I really do now. I do nothing with my day, so I'd really love to get back to work. And uni is coming back for me soon in September, so getting back in there and meeting all my friends again, that'd be good fun.
Excellent. Good luck with that. And Ben?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, quite excited to get back to actually being able to go into uni, see my friends, because a lot of them from far-flung bits of the UK, so they're not really, you can't really see them at the moment. And as well, being able to go down on Friday night to Murrayfield, or hopefully mini Murrayfield soon, and watch some Edinburgh games again. Cause, it's a staple of the week I've been missing recently.
Good answer.
Yeah, I disagree. It's only 15 quid in the train to go to Scotstoun. If you want to support a good side. So obviously we've asked you to collect these 5 items in front of you. We'd now quite like it if you could make a tower out of them. So basically, whoever can make the highest one gets a bunker pint when this is all done, or a soft drink of their alternative, as it may be the case for the two of you on the Aqua. So feel free to take your time building it, thinking about how you'll construct it.
I think I've done myself dirty with this one, but
well. We had to do this on a work call, and it was not very pleasant.
And you've been
to be so busy, no.
I feel like there's not very much I can really do to this to make it much taller than it already is.
Well, I mean, picking the rocket was a very clever move.
Yeah, I mean, it's the first thing I saw.
How am I supposed to stack headphones?
See if that'll fit.
It's quite excellent to know who's got manual skills. We are looking for a new club handyman, so maybe try not to perform at too high a level here.
Oh, shit.
Otherwise, we'll get you doing all sorts of stuff in the club. I feel like Ben.
I feel like there's not much more I can really do to make it any bigger than it already is.
Yeah, no,
Just making it fall over.
Yeah, no, I think you've won here, Ben. Although Euan
There's
is
no way.
You're just trying your
I'm
best.
trying my very hardest.
that looks like some kind of horrible toy. Yeah, no, I'm just gonna stop there.
Well done, lads. So I think that's
Thank you very much.
just to Ben when we get to see you next.
Mm-hmm.
Good stuff. So next time on the Cockerel cast, we plan on heading to the other edge of the spectrum and chat about Northern with the very experienced Mike Cuthbert. Join us for that. For now, though, I'm Jason Thompson. He's Michael Mawdsley, and thanks to Ben and Euan for joining us. Stay safe, and we look forward to sending you on a few pointless errands in person before too long.
Cheers.
Thanks very much.
For having me. Cheers.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers.